With your permission, Your Excellency, my Lord Bishop, allow me now to read a tribute to the late Charles Rubia from the Matiba family, which we were asked to do by Edith Matiba. The year was 1990, a year etched into the memories of those who lived through it. The beautiful ones of today, who happen to be the majority of Kenyans, were not yet born. And they belong to a different world, incomprehensible, born and bred on Twitter and Instagram posts. The tension in the air was palpable. The Kanu elections of 1988, held under the notorious Q voting system, had produced farcical results. The winners declared, securing the votes of those who are out of favor with the system. Shadowy security forces, we were never sure whether it was special branch, preyed on citizens, arresting individuals for undefined crimes against the state, holding them without trial, detaining them without due process. It was a matter of grave terror to be visited by an unmarked white saloon car, more often than not occupied by three men of indeterminate background. You might never be seen again. Or then again, you might. Your body found in an advanced state of mutilation and decay in a dense forest miles away from anywhere. Neighbors and friends became suspects, for everyone was a police informer, whispering to unseen ears what had been whispered in secret. A murmur of discontent about the latest potholes in the road was tantamount to treason. You could have your fingers chopped off for displaying the victory sign, a symbol of hope and the chance of plurality. You learn to look out for the secret police at the corner opposite your office entrance and go to the top floor of a building in a lift to see if your fellow passenger was sent to see who you are visiting. The taps on the phone lines cracked and burst with every conversation, and one learned to speak in coded terms at every turn. We kept the telephone numbers of several international journalists, all based at the famous Chester House, which was, in a strange twist of history, owned by the departed hero lying here today. A call to the BBC could literally save your life, for someone outside of Kenya would know that you had been picked up for questioning, and awkward questions could be asked. Lives saved. Historians tell us that revolutions take root when those who would otherwise be counted as a part of the system become disenchanted with the status quo and lend the weight of their influence to the movement for change. And so it was in that 1990 season of change in Kenya, groups of people hitherto members of the status quo defied the standing law that not more than 10 people could be gathered in one place without a license, and began to meet in secret to express their joint sense that something had to change. The decision to call for a public meeting on the 7th of July, 1990, the day referred to as Saba Saba, was the work of many who may never be named, for many of that company who might still have told the story are now fallen. Suffice it to say that when that fateful day came to bell the cat and to shout from the rooftops what had been spoken in subdued tones in hidden venues, only 2 men had the courage to follow through on their convictions and show up at Chester House for the press conference. One was Kenneth Matiba, and the other was Charles Rubia. The rest, as they say, is history. A gentleman to the last, Charles Rubia endured his days in detention following that epic moment in time with grace and fortitude. He remained true to his principles, a champion of free speech, freedom of movement and expression, of dissenting views, to the end. Many of the heroes of the Second Liberation Movement lost their taste for constitutional sanctity in the scramble for positions of influence and power that opened up with the expansion of democratic space, but not so Charles Rubia. He will remain in our collective national memory as an enduring legacy to this nation, as an example of what it really means to be an instrument of positive change in an environment when so many of those in public service serve only themselves and their personal greed and gain. In the words of John Bunyan, no foes have stayed Charles Rubia's might. Though he with giants fought, he made good his right to be a pilgrim. May he enjoy his well-earned rest from his labors, and may his family be assured in this time of mourning that their father was all he should be and more. In times of challenge and controversy, he stood his ground and proved his measure as a man. May you all know the peace and comfort of God, who does not change, both today and always. Edith Matiba and the family.